Hi everyone. So today here is I'm going to give you a review how to simplify. So that is it's kind of skills or tools I needed in the course here. So I'm going to go one by one how to simplify, and this stuff here is very important in the course as a skills. So the first one here, how we're going to write single fraction and simplify. As much as possible here. So for example here, if I have the first one here is if you have say 1 over x plus 3 minus 1 over x here, how to simplify this as single fraction. So what I'm going to do here is let us recall here, if you have a over b and plus or minus c over d, how to simplify this as one single fraction. So what you are going to do here is just do cross here, guys. Just do cross a multiplied by d, so you have ad. What you have in the middle here, just plus or minus, then just write plus or minus, whatever it is here, just write it as it is. Then c multiplied by b, so you have c multiplied by b, the whole thing divided by b divided by d. So b multiplied by d, b multiplied by d, so I should write here b multiplied by d. So that is one way here. You could have another way. You take the, is okay. Any way, it will be acceptable because you will get the same solution. So here, how I'm going to, what I have here. So look, you have here one fraction, and here you have another fraction. So 1 over x plus 3 minus 1 over x. How to simplify? Then what you have in the middle minus. What you have in the middle minus. Then I do that. What is my a? Is my a here is 1. What is your b? X plus 3. X plus 3, that is your b. Here, what is your c? Is 1. What is your d? Just x. So I'm going to just apply this rule here. So you do the cross here, do just the cross. Take 1 multiplied by x, you get x. What do you have in the sign here? Minus, just I write minus, and then I do the right cross here, which is 1 multiplied by x. 1 multiplied by x plus 3, I put it between bracket. The whole thing divided by, take whatever I have down here, multiply by whatever I have here. So what you have x multiplied by x plus 3. X plus 3. And then I try to simplify this one here. How to simplify? Then just maybe I write it here. So what you have x, just write x minus minus 1 here. Minus 1 multiplied by x, you get minus x. Minus 1 multiplied by 3, you get minus 3. The whole thing divided by x multiplied by x plus 3. So now x cancel with negative x. So what do you have left? Minus 3 divided by x multiplied by x plus 3. So as you can see here, we wrote this one here as single fraction. If you want, you can leave it like this, I'm happy. Or just, you can write it also as x multiplied by x, you get x squared. X multiplied by 3, you get 3x. So that's the first example here, how to simplify as one fraction. So that's example number 1. Let me call this example number 1, or I call it A here, the same. Then let me give you another example here, guys. Another example here, how to simplify here. What do you have here? What do you have? I have 1 minus x squared over 1 minus x cubed. Or it's okay, x squared over x squared minus 1. So how to simplify this one here? So here, I'm going to apply this rule. Well, look what you have. You have 1. So 1 here is nothing but is 1 over 1. So if I can rewrite 1 as 1 over 1. So what you have? Minus x squared over x squared minus 1. Then I apply this rule here. What is your a? Oh, your a is 1. Your b here also is 1. And then minus x squared over x. So that is your c, and that is my d. What is the sign here in between? Minus. So I'm going to do cross. So you take 1 multiplied by x squared minus 1. 1 multiplied by x squared minus 1. And here, what do you have? The sign in the middle, minus. I do cross here, as you can see. The sign minus, I put minus. And then x squared multiplied by 1. So x squared multiplied by 1 The whole thing divided by, take 1, multiply by x squared. So I just multiply those two together. So you get 1 multiplied by x squared minus 1. Now, I combine them as one fraction. I try to simplify this as much as we can here. That is the question. So you have 1 multiplied by x squared, you get x squared. 1 multiplied by minus 1, you get minus 1. And here, what do you have? You have minus x squared. The whole thing divided by 1 multiplied by this, you have x squared minus 1. Right? So x squared here cancel with minus x squared, they cancel. So what you have left? Just minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1. And that is what you can simplify, and we simplify that as one fraction, as one fraction. So you can just write this one. So another example here, how to simplify. Today here, as I said, how to simplify the scales here. So example number 3 here, if I have x squared minus 2x minus 2x, so minus 3x minus 4 divided by x, the whole thing is a fraction, x over 1. How to simplify this one here, guys? So here, x squared minus 3x minus 4, that is quadratic term here. I ask myself, well, how I'm going to simplify this? Maybe I simplify this by trying to factor this. What is the hint here? Usually, when they ask you to simplify like this, the first guess to simplify this is you have here x plus 1. So it suppose that I have x somehow, I should get up also x plus 1 somehow, because I have here x plus 1. So I'm expected to get here also x plus 1. So now I try to factor this. What do you have? X squared. How to get x squared? You have x multiplied by x. X squared, just x multiplied by x. Here that's a guess, plus 1. So what do you have? You have minus 4. So how did you get here? I should have minus 4. Why? Because 1 multiplied by minus 4, you get here minus 4. And now I need to try to make sure that is correct or incorrect. So how to check? You take that, it's like this. You take the first with the last, with the second term. So the first term here with the second, and take the second with multiply by first. So if I take the first one, x multiplied by minus 4, what did you get? Minus 4x, minus 4x. The second term here, if I take the second term, multiply by first, include the sign here, so you get plus 1 multiplied by x. What did you get? You get x. If I add those together, you get the term in the middle here, which is minus 3x. So if I add those together, you get minus 3x, which is already minus 3x here. And if I take the first with the first, you get x squared. If you take the second with the second, multiply by the second, so here you have plus 1 multiplied by minus 4. What did you get? You get minus 4. So here it will be here correct. So this, when I factor this, I check, yes, it's correct. Then now I can simplify. Oh, here x plus 1 cancel with x plus 1. They cancel each other here. So what do you have left? Just x minus 4. Just x minus 4. So that is the term here after I simplify here, guys. So you can write here or just copy this, and then I will give you, continue here about how to simplify. So maybe I will give you here one few, like just copy this or just take just picture here, just so that I can continue. That's this example here, I took that out. So maybe I will write another example here. I will give you, sorry here guys. So here I give you another example here, how to simplify. So another example here, how to simplify as much as you can. Example number 4. What I have here, example number 4, you have x squared minus x multiplied by x plus 5. The whole thing divided by x plus 1. So sorry, the whole thing divided by 5 multiplied by x plus 5. So here x 5 multiplied by x plus 5. So I need to simplify this as much as we can. How to simplify this? Here, just expand the bracket. X squared, just write x squared. Negative x multiplied by x, you get negative x squared. Negative x multiplied by plus 5, you get minus 5x. The whole thing divided by here, 5 multiplied by x plus 5. Now, I try to see if I can cancel some term. Oh, x squared cancel with negative x squared. So what you have minus 5x, the whole thing here 5 over x plus 5. So here I can even cancel 5 with 5 here, because you have 5 cancel with 5. So what you have left from up here, just negative x. From here, what you have left, just x plus 5. That is the one that you can simplify. That's the maximum you can here simplify. All right. So that is as how to simplify. We are going to also take how to expand and how to solve equation. So we go here one by one. But as I said here, and just give a flavor here, how to simplify as much as we can here, because we need that as a skills in the course here. You should really know some results. So another here, how to expand. So expand, that's another, after simplify here, how to expand here. Expand here, what you have 2a plus 3 to the power 2. So you have a bracket square here. So you have 2a plus 3, 2a plus 3. How to expand this one here? When you have a bracket to the power what? The bracket 2 here, what does this mean? It means here is the bracket multiplied by itself how many times? 2 times. 2 times. So you have 2a plus 3, 2a plus 3. Then go ahead and expand this. How to expand? Take the first term here, multiply by the whole bracket, and take the second term with the whole bracket. So one by one. 2a multiplied by 2a, you will get 4a squared. 2a multiplied by 2a, you get 4a squared, because 2 multiplied by 2, you get 4. A multiplied by a, you get a squared. And then 2a multiplied by 3, you get 6a. 2 multiplied by 3, you get 6, and the a, I just write it. Plus, then take the second term here, that's the second term, which is 3 multiplied by the whole bracket. 3 multiplied by 2a, you get 6a. And 3 multiplied by 3, what did you get? You get 9. So if I combine this, 6a here, 6a here, so you get 4a squared plus 12a plus 9, plus 9. Here 12a plus 9. That is the expansion of this bracket. So here, we have to, I'm going to write a rule here, guys, so that you can use it here. If you have a plus b, the whole thing square, then how to expand this? You take the first one square, first term square. And then you take the second term square. So what you have plus b squared. So when I take the first term, you have squared, so you have a squared. The second term, you have plus b squared. And then take the first, multiply by the second, multiply by 2. So what you have a multiplied by b, you can write a multiplied by b. And then you have to add here 2. And the sign here, just you put it here. So because you have to consider the sign as the second term. Like the first term, a, the second term plus b, plus b. So here, square the first term, which is a squared. The second term is plus b squared, you get b squared. And then take the first, multiply by the second, multiply by 2. So that is the expansion of when you have a bracket square. When you have a bracket square. Likewise, if you have a minus b, the whole thing squared like this, then what you have, you take this first term square. The first term is a, the second term is minus b, There it was plus b and here minus b. So I square the first one, which you have a squared. The second term is squared, you have minus b squared. So it will be also plus b squared. I take the first, multiply by the second, include the sign. The first is a, the second here is minus b. You have minus sign because the second term will have negative b. Multiply by 2, so I have to put 2 here. So that is the expansion also of a minus b squared. So you can use this rule here. If you don't like to remember this, then just take a bracket, multiply by itself twice, like this, and just expand it with extra step here. Take the first term, multiply the whole bracket, and then take the second term, multiply by the whole bracket, simplify, you are going to get this one. So that is how to expand this one. So now I'm going to give, as I said here, is a flavor from everything here. So So now what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to how to solve equation. How to solve equation. So let me give you how to solve equation here, and then we could go back one by one here and just to remember. So for example here, what is the equation? First of all, before I solve equation, what is equation? Equation means when you have equal sign. When you have equal signs and you have something on the left and you have something on the right. So if you have that, that is, we call it equation. So what is equation here again? You must have equal signs in the middle, that is equal sign, and then you have something on the left and something also here on the right. So that is called equation. So if you have, say for example here, linear equation. So that is, I try to explain what is equation here. Equation means, I'm writing in short, equation. So what is equation? So you could have linear equation. For example here, if you have 3x plus b, 3x plus maybe I write here, you could have just a number here, say you have 6, and here equal, say 0 here, for example here. So is this one here equation? Yes. How did you know it's equation? Because when I look to the middle here, guys, what do you have? You have equal sign. What you have in the right, you have something, some quantity here, you have 0, or it could be anything. Something on the right, it could be anything. It could be number, it could be also variable in x like this. That's called unknown here. So that is equation, because you have quantity here on the left and you have another quantity on the right. In the middle you have equal sign. We call it equation. And then why we call it, what kind of equation you have? We call it linear equation. We call it linear equation. Why is linear equation here? Why is linear equation? Because this equation, how many unknown you have here? What is your variable? What is your unknown? Your x. I need to get x. What is a value x? I need to solve that for x. Solve for x means, when I ask you solve this equation for x, solve for x means your x equal what? Your x equal what? So you have the number in front, x must be 1, and that is equal. You have to know the number that you have there. So x equal equal what? That is the, so this equation, we call it linear equation, because my unknown here is x, and the highest power for x is 1. The highest power for x just 1, so we call it linear, and we have in the middle equal signs, we call it equation. So this one, we call it linear equation. How to solve this linear equation? Because the highest power for x is 1, then I'm expecting to get only one value for x. X equal what? That's one value for x, because it's a linear equation. It's a linear equation. So how to solve this one here, guys? So you have 3x plus 6 equal 0. So I'm going to take the constant term here, that's a constant, and this term here, that is where you have your unknown or your variable, and then I take the constant to the other side. I collect always the constant term. If you have mixed term, like here, mix it between constant and also the term that has your variable here or unknowns, then I collect all the constant term in one side. I collect all the variable, all the term has x. Any term include x, I put it in other side. So here you have 6. I take 6 to the other side, you get negative 6. When I take 6 to the right, become minus 6. And what do you have here? 3x. Then I make sure that in one side, all the side here has only include x, and the other side does not have any x. It only has constant term. So what I'm going to do here, I need, because our goal here is to solve that for x, which means the number in front x must be 1. Then I have to divide by 3. So what is your x? It will be minus 6 divided by 3. So what I'm doing here, just divide both sides by, divide by 3. By 3, why? Because here you have 3, the coefficient of x is 3. I have to divide by 3, get 1, and then I have to do that in both sides. Why? Because your equation here, it's like balance. If you do something in the left, you must do it on the right, so that you can keep your equal signs still valid, still the same. So here, negative 6 over 3, if I simplify that, you get minus 2, negative 2. So is negative 2 here the solution? Yes. So when I ask you solve this linear equation, means what is the value of x equal what? So here I figure out x equal minus 2. So if you want, you can check what you are doing correct or incorrect. You go back to the given equation. That is my given equation. I call it a star. If you want, you can replace x by minus 2. Then your equation should be valid. It should be true. What do you mean? If I replace x here, what do you have? Just replace x by minus 2. What did you get in the left-hand side? Left-hand side. Then you have 3 minus 2 plus 6. Then you get minus 6 plus 6, which is 0. What is 0 here? That is the one that you have on the right-hand side, which means this is what here is the solution here is correct. The solution here is correct. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve some linear equation, and then I go for how to solve quadratic equation, and I have to solve other equation here. It's very important to solve this one here. So let me give you another example how to solve linear equation, guys. So what is the question here? Solve for x. So that is another example here, how to solve for x here, guys. So solve for x here. So what do you have? You have here 5x minus 7 equal 3x plus 5. 3x plus 5. So how to solve this one here for x? Look what you have here, guys. Here, when I look to the right hand, is that the equation? Yes. How did you know it's the equation? Because you have equal sign here, right? Equal sign. Number 2 here, you have on the left hand, that's quantity left. On the left hand side, you have some quantity. The right hand side, another quantity. So that is the equation. But what kind of equation you have? It's a linear equation. How did you know it's a linear equation? Because this equation, it's my unknown or your variable here, only x. And when I look to the highest power for x here is 1. The highest power here for x is 1. Because the highest power is 1, here 1. That is the reason we call it linear equation. Linear equation. How to solve the linear equation? I collect here, you have variable here, one term has x, and also that's the one we call it constant term. This one we call it constant term. And this constant term and one term include x. So what I'm going to do, I collect all the constant term in one side, I collect all the term has x in the other side. So here 5x, maybe I leave 5x on in the left here, and then you have minus 7 here, minus 7, and let us take 3x other side. Take 3x other side. So you have 3x. When I take it other side, you get minus 3x. So what you have on the right hand side, you have just 5. When I took 3x to the left, it becomes minus 3x. So, but here you have a constant term. You have a constant term. So I'm going to take the constant, collect all the constant term in one side. So minus 7, I should take it that to the right. So what you have, 5x minus 3x. When I take minus 7 to the other side, what you have plus 7. When I simplify this, you get 12 here, and 5x minus 3x, what this one here, equal 2x, just 2x. Then I go ahead and I need to solve that for x, which means what is your x? What is the value x? So I need to make the coefficient of x here just 1. So how to make that 1? Just divide by 2. So if I divide by 2, you get 12 over 2, which is 6. So that is the solution, yes. You have to, if you want, you can check if your solution correct or incorrect. You go back to the given equation, that is the original one here, and just replace x by 6. What will happen? The left-hand side must equal to the right-hand side. If it turns out they are not the same, then your solution here is incorrect, it's not right. So how to do that? You go back here, guys. Let me call it left-hand side. This one means left-hand side. What is the left-hand side here? It's 5 multiplied by x. What is x? Just 6 minus 7. Minus 7. If I simplify this, you get 30 here minus 7. So what you have 23. Then I take the right-hand side. What is your right-hand side here, guys, in star? So maybe I put star here. Star means I'm just put that in my equation here. So what is the right-hand side? So you take 3x. What is your x? 6 plus 5. If I simplify this, what you get 18 plus 5, which is 23. So as you can see, the left-hand side here equal to the right-hand side here means your solution is correct. Your solution here is correct. All right. So that is how to solve equation. So now I go for quadratic equation, guys. I go for quadratic equation, and then we go for the different type of equation, how to solve. And this one here, as I said, kind of skills, and we need to be aware, or we need to know how to solve this. So what is quadratic equation, guys? Maybe I should write here. I use maybe different different bin here. So maybe I take this one here. So what do you have? Quadratic equation, guys. What is quadratic? Quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. So quadratic equation here is, it should be ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0. You must have 0 here, guys. And that is called quadratic equation. Why we call it equation? Quadratic equation. Quadratic because this equation here, your a, what is your a, guys, here? Your a and b and c are real numbers. All of them are real numbers. So all of them just real numbers. Could be any numbers. And we require a cannot be 0. Why a not equal 0? Because if a equals 0, then this term becomes 0. And what did you get? You get linear. This term becomes linear equation, and we know how to solve linear equation. So we require here a could be non-zero. It must be non-zero, and a, b, c are just real numbers. And we call it quadratic because the highest power for x is 2. The highest power for x is 2. So you have 2 here. So that's the reason we call it quadratic. And we call it quadratic equation because you have in the middle just equal sign. So that is called quadratic equation. Now, how to solve this quadratic equation? You have several ways to solve this one here. One way, you could have so-called completing square. And another way here is, we call it by a factor, just factorization here. And the third way here, use quadratic formula. So here, you have seen that maybe in high school. So you can go ahead and just, as I said, this review here, just to tell you, you go ahead and review this stuff here. In the textbook, they have chapter called chapter 0. You can follow this, or just skills here, just make sure you are aware how to solve quadratic equation, linear equations, how to simplify, and all of this. So that is what my goal for this class, just to give you some review and some skills I need them on the class. So now, how to solve this? I'm going to give only, I try to use this one using what's called quadratic formula here. So here, how many value I'm expecting to get for x? 2 value. So we have minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, the whole thing over 2a, guys, over 2a. So here, because in the linear equation, the highest power for x, it was 1. And we are expecting to get only 1 value for x. And here, what is the highest value? It's 2. The highest value for x is 2. The highest power here for x, then is 2. Then I'm expecting to get 2 value for x. I'm expecting to get 2 value for x. So that is, we write x1 and x2. The x1, the first value for x. x2, the second value for x. So let me give you an example here, how to solve this one here, guys. The first example here, you have x squared plus x minus 20 equal 0. All right? X squared plus x, that is example how to solve quadratic equation. And then, if I compare here, what is your a? Your a, what is my a here? Your a here is 1. What is your b, guys, here? Compare here, you have bx. You have here x, your b equal 1. So what is your c? Your c here is, includes a sign which is minus 20, minus 20. So what is that? I put that in, let me call a double star here, or just to give a number. So if I put it here, in order to get x, 2 value for x, minus b, which is minus 1. Your b 1 plus or minus square root of b squared. What is your b squared, guys, here? You will have b squared, which is 1 squared, minus 4a. What is your a? 1. What is your c? Minus 20. Minus 20. So as you can see, I put always a negative sign. Whenever you have term negative sign, I put it between brackets so that I will not do a mistake. So I put minus 20 here. The whole thing divided by 2a. What is your a? I said your a here is 1. So now I need to simplify this, guys. Minus 1 plus or minus square root of, here 1 square, which is 1, 4, negative here, they have negative sign, they have negative sign, so it becomes positive plus. 4 multiplied by 1, you get 4. Multiplied by 20 here, so you get 80. The whole thing divided by 2. 2 multiplied by 1, you get 2. So what do you get? You get 1 minus 1 plus or minus square root of 81 divided by 2, right? And then what this one here? It will be minus 1 plus or minus the square root of 81, just 9. The whole thing divided by 2. So what this mean here, guys? This one, this means 2 number here, guys. Minus 1 plus minus 1 plus 9 divided by 2, that's one value. The second value is minus 1 minus 9 divided by 2. So you take here plus one time and minus the second time. So that is the first value for x, and that is the second value for x. How to simplify this? Minus 1 plus 9, you get 8 divided by 2. What did you get? You get 4. And here, what did you get? You get minus 10 divided by 2, which is minus 5. Minus 5. Okay? So that is two values. So your x, the first value for x, the first one is 4. And the second value here, guys, the second value is negative 5. If you want, you can check your solution again is correct or incorrect. So that is my original equation. That is the original, the example is given. You can go ahead and replace x by 4 here, and you must get 0. If I replace x by 4, you can try that. If I replace x by minus 5 here, you get also 0, which means the solution here, they are correct. If it turns out you put those two values and you figure out you are not getting 0, then they are not really solutions. Something wrong what you are doing. So that is one way. Some people say, well, I can factor this. It's okay. Yes, you can factor. Also, when you factor this, you get the same number, 4 and minus 5. You get 4 and minus 5. You get the same. But in order to factor, you have to be really good and solid, because I need this kind of skills in the middle of the problem. And if you factor incorrect, everything collapses. So it's good to know one way, and it will be correct. Okay, guys? So I know I give you another example here how to solve quadratic here, because we need more example here, and then I could go and solve another equation. So here another example here how to solve if I have x squared plus x minus 1. Plus 1 here, maybe that's the first one. X squared plus x plus 1. So how to do this one here? I compare, guys. What is your a? Oh, my a here is 1. What is your b? My b here is 1 again. What is your c? What is your c? Just 1. So I go back to my quadratic formula here. That is your quadratic formula. If I replace a by 1, so your solution x minus b. What is minus b? Minus 1. Your b is 1 minus 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 1 squared, minus 4a, which is 1, c, which is 1. The whole thing divided by 2a. What is a? A here is 1. So here that is 1 squared, guys. So if you simplify this, what did you get? You get minus 1 plus or minus the square root of here 1 squared, which is 1, and here minus 4. The whole thing divided by 2. So if I simplify this, you get minus 1 plus or minus a square root of negative 3. When I use technology here, guys, negative square root of negative 3, you will have error. Error means this number here, this one, there is no solution. You don't have such value. So here, error means it's related to the domain and all of this. We'll come to that when we teach what is the domain, or I give you more example for the domain. So because of that, that is error means this one does not exist. There is no such value of x. So this one error to find the value x here. So because of that, we write here no real solution. We don't have real solution. We have solution in mathematics, but for beyond this course, we have a numbers different from real numbers. Here we call it complex number and all of this. But for our course here, there is no real solution. So that is one example here for no real solution. I give you here, maybe I give you another example where you have so-called repeated value here. So if I have x squared, guys, and here you have minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. X squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. How to do this one, how to solve this one here? So I'm going to using this quadratic formula here. So what do you have, guys, here? So what I have here, your a, just compare here, guys. What is your a, guys, from here? What is your a? Just 1. So your a here, just a is 1. What is your b, guys, here? Your b here is minus 2. Your b minus 2. What is your c, guys, here? Your c here is 1. It's just 1. So then what you have, guys, I'm going to use this quadratic formula here. So replace b by b minus 2 and a1 and c1. So let us see what did you get. Your x, I'm expecting to get 2 value if you can. So minus b, which is minus your b minus 2. As you can see, whenever you have negative number, I put it always between small bracket so that you're not confused or you will not do mistakes. So plus or minus, guys, plus or minus is square root of b squared, which is negative 2, the whole thing is squared, minus 4a. What is your a? 1. What is your c? Just 1. Oh, the whole thing divided by 2a. What is 2a? Just 2 multiplied by 1. If I simplify this, you get negative 2 plus or minus. Here, what do you have? You have 4. 4 minus 4. The whole thing divided by 2. So what did you get here, guys? What I got here, what I have there, just here, 4 minus 4, you get 0. So square root, that's 4 minus 4, which is 0. So what I have, 2 minus 2 divided by 2. So what did you get? You get minus 1. So what does this mean? What is the value of x equal minus 1? He said here, I'm expecting to get 2 value for x, and here you get only 1 value. No, here we got 2 value for x, but it's repeated twice. So I have the solution here for this, x equal minus 1, and the second value, because you get also the same, it will be minus 1. In our case here, is repeated. Our solution is repeated, so you have minus 1 and minus 1. So here, again, we're expecting to get 2 value, and we got those 2 value. All right, that is for how to solve quadratic equations. How to solve quadratic equation. So now I give you here also another ways to solve equations, and we keep continue here. You know, as I said here, I'm just kind of reviewing here, guys. I'm just here reviewing. So now, what about if I give you here. What's called here. So if I give you, for example, here, if you have a squared, let us recall, guys, recall here, recall. If you have a squared minus b squared, how to factor this one here? If you recall this, how to factor this? If you have a squared minus b squared, I'm going to hide the power here of the exponent. So what do you have left? When I hide this, you have a minus b. So that is, I'm going to write it here, a bracket, the first bracket, a minus b. Because when I hide this exponent here, those two here, you get a minus b. I write a minus b. And the second bracket here, guys, the second bracket should be exactly the same, but opposite sign. So what you have, minus become plus. So you have a minus b multiplied by a plus b. So that is the expansion of a squared when you have a squared minus b squared. When you have a squared minus b squared, then you have a minus b. I hide this. That is only work if you have in the middle minus. But if you have in the middle plus, I cannot factor. If you have in the middle plus, you cannot factor. You factor only if you have in the middle minus. So now, if I give you example here, guys, example here, if you have, say, x squared minus 81, what do you have? You have equal 0. You have that is equal 0. So how to solve this one here? I'm going to explain a few ways to solve this. One way, you can use quadratic formula here. Compare what is your a, guys, what is your b, what is c. That's one way. You can do that at home here, guys. You take a, what is your a? 1. What is your b? Do you have any b, guys? Do you have any x here? No, you don't have any x. So which means your b is what? Is 0. And then what is your c, guys? What is your c? That is minus 81. Minus 81. That is one way. You go ahead. I can leave that to you. But another way, I'm going to use this formula here. So what do you have? You have a squared. So what is, when I compare, what is x squared and here a squared? What is your a? What is your a? X. Your a here, if I compare for this, your a, big A here, just x. Now, this one, what is your b squared? Then you have to write x squared minus something squared. I have to rewrite 81 as something squared, which is 9 squares. I write 9 squared equal 0, just 0. So that is the same problem. That is the one I need to solve. I need to solve that for x. So now when I compare, your a here is x, that is your a. What is your b, guys? Your b here is 9. So what I will do here, I will do the same. I am going to hide the exponent here, guys. So what you have left? X minus 9. So one bracket, it will be x minus 9 multiplied by the same one, a minus b, and here a plus b. Your a here we mentioned is x, your b here is 9. So you have x plus 9, the whole thing equals 0. The whole thing equals 0. Okay, guys? Then what you have, guys, here, what you have, I need to solve this. So we have so-called something I'm going to recall here, guys. Recall when I solved, we call it here zero product. What is zero? Zero product. What is zero product here, guys? It turns out if you have A multiplied by B, a bracket, multiplied by another bracket, or you have two quantities, the product of those two quantities equals zero, then it turns out one of them at least zero. It could be A0. Why? Because if A0, 0 multiplied by anything, you get 0. It could be also B0, because B, if 0, we have a product, 0 multiplied by anything, you get also 0. So here is a 0 product. If you have A multiplied by B equals 0, then your A could be 0, or your B could be 0, or both of them are 0. So it could be both of them are 0. You could have both of them are 0, guys. All right, so if you have a product, so now zero product, is that only two quantity, product of two quantity? No, if you have even A multiplied by B, multiplied by C, multiplied by D, so one of them could be 0 or all of them 0. One of them, at least one of them could be 0 or all of them could be 0. So here, that is, when I solve this one here, what you have a bracket, multiply, did you hear multiply by another bracket equals 0? Then each one of these brackets could be 0. So it could be x minus 9, it could be 0. And also it could be x plus 9, it could be 0, because you have their product is 0. So it could be one of them 0. If you have x minus 9 equals 0, this one, how to solve that for x? You have x equal 9. When I solve this one here for x, what do you have? X equal minus 9. X equal minus 9. So that is the solution for the problem here. You have two values for x, it could be 9 or minus 9. You can check. How to check? You go for the original problem here. That is the problem is given, ask you to solve. If I replace x by 9, you get 81 minus 81, which is 0. So that is solution is correct. If I replace by minus 9, what do you have? Minus 9 squared. Minus 9 squared, when I use technology, you get 81 minus 81, you get 0. So because of that, that is both of them, they are solution. All right? So that is, so how to solve this kind of problems? You have two ways. One way, use quadratic formula, which is correct. And the second way, I could factor, like here is the rule, how to factor this. You have something squared minus something squared, and then you can apply this one, but you're going, that is must equal 0, which means you must recall how to use zero product. You must know how to use zero product. All right, so now, if I give you the same problem, another example here, some people, how they say, well, I know another way before I give you another example. Some people, they say, well, I could solve it in another way. What is, how to solve this? Oh, x squared minus 81 equals 0. What they do, they say, oh, x squared equal 81. They take negative 81 to the other side. And then they say, okay, let us take a square root. Take square root. So what do you have? You have a square root of 81. What is incorrect here? I said the highest power is what? Is 2. That is quadratic equation. So I'm expecting to get how many value for x? 2 value. So when I take square root, do not forget to write plus or minus. Plus or minus. It's not only plus, but plus or minus, because you get 2 value for x. And a common mistake among students, always they write plus and forget about minus. So what do you have? So what do you have here, guys? It will be plus or minus, just 9. And that is the 2 values that I'm talking about here. So you could solve it by 3 ways here, using quadratic formula, or you have to factor, or how take it to the other side, but do not forget to put plus or minus. So I give you example, and then I close this part here. If I have x squared equal 5, how to solve this one here? X squared equal 5, I need to solve that for x. If you would like to use quadratic formula, you must have equal 0. You must have 0. Why? Quadratic formula, ax squared bx plus c equals 0. But here you have constant. So if I try to solve this, x, it will be plus or minus, do not forget plus or minus, a square root of 5. So here, x gave you 2 value. By doing so, you can solve it like this, or you can use quadratic formula, but in order to use quadratic formula, you must have 0, which means x squared minus 5. You take 5 there, and you must have here 0. You must have 0 in order to use quadratic formula here, guys. All right, guys? So I will stop for this for this part. We continue. I have another class to also for review. I need some skills, so I will stop here. Thank you for your time.